Dear friends, welcome to Revisiting Masters. And today we look at Mahavir, one of the greatest human beings to have walked this planet, and his exploration of Ahimsa or non-violence, taken to its highest peak. Let's begin. In the Jain tradition, Mahavir is the 24th and the last Tirthankar of this age. The word Tirthankar refers to enlightened beings, those who have attained moksha or liberation from the cycles of birth and death. Before we go deeper into the life of Mahavir, let's understand what this term points to. A Tirthankar is one who has crossed samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and in doing so, creates a path for others to cross as well. That is why the enlightenment of a Mahavir or a Buddha is not just their own. It shows the possibility for every human being. The word Tirth also means pilgrimage. So, in a poetic sense, a Tirthankar can be seen as one who has become a pilgrimage themselves. In that sense, the presence of an enlightened master itself becomes a sacred path for others. Mahavir's birth name was Vardhaman. The title Mahavir was bestowed upon him later. Mahavir literally means the great hero or the great warrior. In a land like India, with a long history of warriors and battles, this title was never bestowed lightly. It was not reserved for kings who conquered territories or generals who won wars. Mahavir was called Mahavir because he won the greatest battle possible. Not a battle in the world, but the battle within. He conquered desire, attachment, fear, anger, and the deepest afflictions of the mind. There's a famous story, often attributed to Alexander the Great, also known as Sikandar in India. It is said that after conquering vast kingdoms, as he lay dying, he asked that his hands be left outside his coffin, so that the world could see that even after conquering everything, one leaves empty handed. Mahavir represents the opposite kind of victory. He did not conquer kingdoms, he conquered the self, and he did not leave empty handed. He left the human body having realized its highest potential. Mahavir was born as Vardhaman, a prince into a royal family in the region of Vaishali in present day Bihar. From a young age, he showed signs of Vairagya, a natural dispassion towards worldly pleasures. But out of duty and compassion, he delayed renunciation. While his parents were alive, and later at the insistence of his elder brother, he continued to fulfill his responsibilities. Eventually, after his parents' passing, he renounced the throne, gave up all the possessions, and became a wandering monk. For 12 years, he lived a life of extreme austerity, silence, fasting, solitude, and deep meditation, seeking liberation. As Mahavir's consciousness deepened, he had one clear realization. He saw that every being wants to live. From the smallest ant to the largest animal, the instinct to survive and to avoid suffering is universal. And this became the cornerstone of his philosophy. I did not create this life, therefore, it is not mine to take. The realization sowed the deepest foundations of ahimsa or nonviolence within him. For Mahavir, nonviolence was not just limited to human beings and killing. Any form of harm, in action, speech, or even intention, towards any living being, from the smallest insect to a human, was unacceptable. His entire message was to live in a way that caused minimal harm, even if it came at the cost of his own comfort or well being. For Mahavir, this was the highest form of strength. From this strength arose his greatest quality, forgiveness. There is a well known story in Jain tradition. Once, while Mahavir was meditating in a forest, a cowherd passed by and asked him to watch his cattle while he stepped away briefly. Mahavir, absorbed in deep meditation, did not respond. When the cowherd returned and found his cattle missing, he became enraged. Assuming Mahavir was responsible, he drove iron nails into Mahavir's ears. Mahavir did not react, he did not move, he did not utter a single word. There is a mystical end to this story. Whether true or not, the message is beautiful. It is said, Brahma himself appeared to Mahavir, offering him protection from such cruel acts. Mahavir refused. He said the incident was not cruelty, but the settling of an old karmic account. The cowherd may have done him a favor. Mahavir's life is filled with such episodes, stories that show Ahimsa taken to its highest peak. It is said that he would sleep in the same posture throughout the night, avoiding even the slightest movement so as not to harm small insects or worms on the ground. For Mahavir, awareness extended to the smallest details of existence. One of his most striking methods of teaching was internal rather than verbal. He would guide disciples into deep meditation, helping them glimpse their past lives, seeing how they had pursued wealth, relationships, power, and success again and again, life after life. Through this, he revealed the futility of unconscious repetition and redirected their attention towards a single, unwavering aim: self realization. Now, we look at the legacy Mahavir left behind, a small community you may or may not have heard of, the Jains of India. A tiny community, less than 1% of India's population, yet perhaps the most paradoxical community in the world. They are probably the wealthiest community in the world per capita, and yet the one most deeply focused on self realization, renunciation, and liberation. In a Jain household, the most respected figure is not the successful or wealthy businessman, but a Jain monk. And there's a surprising reason behind the wealth and business success that you see in modern day Jains across India and the world. Historically, Jain monks discouraged the community from farming because it disturbs the earth and destroys unseen life. This led Jains to move towards trade and commerce early on, establishing themselves as merchants and traders across the country. And now the paradox. You'll see several Jains, educated, successful, wealthy businessmen, leave everything overnight to become monks and seek self realization. In Jain thought, human birth is considered extremely precious. It is said that even heavenly beings long for human life because only through human form is it possible to achieve the highest potential for a soul: moksha or nirvana or self realization. If you thought life of monks and priests in general was very austere, then wait till you hear about Jain monks. They take the practice of non-violence to an extent unimaginable. For example, they wear a cloth mask over their mouth all the time, so not to kill microorganisms in the air. What the world adapted for a while during COVID out of compulsion, Jain monks have practiced for generations as a conscious choice. They don't eat root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, onions, as the entire plant gets uprooted in the process. Something a lot of householders in the Jain community do as well. This is ahimsa. This is non-violence. Not as an idea, but as a way of being. At the heart of Jain philosophy lies a deep belief in the law of karma. Every action, every intention, every movement leaves an imprint. Life is not random. What we experience is shaped by the karmas we accumulate. Liberation, therefore, is something that can be achieved with the right karma. In a world marked by violence between races, between religions, Mahavir's message feels not ancient but urgent. Can we become Mahavir overnight? No. Mahavir represents the last step of human journey. Wherever we may be on this journey, every day we can take one step closer. We'll close this journey into Mahavir's life and teachings with his timeless words: Ahimsa Parmo Dharma. Non-violence is the highest religion. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I would like to close this video by reciting a Jain mantra called Navkar mantra. This is the highest mantra in Jain tradition, and through this we give our respect to all the enlightened masters and teachers who guide us on the path to liberation. If you'd like, stay with me or feel free to drop off. Thank you. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loy Sava Sahunam, Eso Panch Namokkaro, Sava Pava Panasano, Manglanam Cha Savesim, Padmam Havai Manglam. Thank you.